Well, we seem to be having a little bit of technical difficulties. Gabe is in Dallas, and we have been trying to work out this internet connection. They just don't want us to get this show going. I don't know why they don't want us to get the show going, but happy Friday, and welcome to this virtual happy hour called a whiskey kind of day. I'm going to try to work on getting Gabe back in here so we can get this show. The show is about celebrating the goods and bads and the uglies of life and business, but mostly the business bullshitums that make you say, I need a drink. This is one of the bullshitums that make you say, I want to have a drink. Is that not right? It is one of the business bullshitums. So Gabe is in a cigar lounge in Dallas. We're going to try to work on. There you go. Are you there?
I'm here, man. What's going on? I guess we still having a few issues.
Well, we can hear you live on the stream. So the show has started, man. We'll get you going. You may be pixelized for a little bit, but let's try to get through this the best way we possibly can. This is what we're talking about when we say the ups and downs of business. Because just when you think you got everything straight and you want to get everything going, some bullshit like an internet connection fucks up your whole day.
Man, mess everything. I don't even know what's going on. We got full bars on the internet service here, but for whatever reason, it's just not connecting. But and that's kind of what happened. You put your hands in technology, and you're on these forms, and sometimes things go the way you want them to, and sometimes they just like to throw you a curveball. So, hey, I got my drink.
Let's get to the most important part of the day. What are you drinking is the big question. What are you drinking? I've got a little bit of Don Julio 2021.
Right on, man. Well, listen, I am on my Old Faithful. My glass is already half empty, so I'm trying to make my way to glass number 2. So, man, let's just have a good time. That's all I can say. I'm curious to see what else other people. Please chime in, type in what y'all drink. I'm curious to join in with you guys and see what's up. And let's happy hour business mixer together and get it going.
So this show is about e-commerce and what new challenges you're experiencing since 2020, moving into 2021. You've got a business in Dallas. You've got a brick and mortar store, Fubu Mobile. Have you made attempts to put that brand online? And this is a big thing too, also, where everything is moving all online. Every e-commerce is kind of taken over the world. Have you made the attempt to move Fubu Mobile online, and are you getting a good source of revenue from that? Okay, we're still having technical difficulties with Gabe. In 2021, you have to have an online presence because everything is moving more to a kind of an on-demand delivery type situation. And if your e-commerce platform is not necessarily set up correct, you're going to be doomed to fail because people like Amazon, people like Walmart.com, and a lot of other platforms are just going to eat you out of business. And so you have to sit there and make sure that your brand is positioned very well. Your SEO, it needs to be positioned very well. And one of the big issues, and I'll try to see if we can bring Gabe back in here on this in a second, is working on how to separate yourself from the noise out there. One of the big things, especially with 2021, with a lot of people sitting at home last year, everybody started doing drop shipping. Everybody was getting their stuff from AliExpress. Everybody was setting up a store on Shopify. If you look at Shopify stock, it is through the roof. We're talking like, I don't know, I think it was like $1,300 or $1,400 a share. And that's because so many people are using online platforms to sell. But how do you separate yourself from the noise? How do you sit there and create a product or put it out there and distinguish yourself from a lot of other businesses out there who are selling the same thing, and this is where you need to sit there and make your brand, get it distinguished from other people's, because a lot of people are putting up these kind of ghost stores. They're selling one simple product and they're just putting their fishing line out there and trying to see whatever they can catch. And that's a big thing. How do you separate your brand out of the noise of everybody else if you are doing e-commerce? Let me see if we can bring in Paul. Paul, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How you doing?
Hey, Paul. Paul is the owner of Old Good Goods, which is an Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity and corporate licensed vendor. You're co-owner of LoveEnvyBoutique.com, along with the affordable DFW contractors. And you're a serial entrepreneur who believes in sharing failures and lessons. And your businesses are all online. We're waiting on Gabe to get back with us. He's having some technical difficulties down in Dallas. We're talking about e-commerce, and we're talking about how do you separate your brand from the noise of everything out there. I was saying, everybody was doing drop shipping in 2020 because everybody was at home. Everybody's starting a home-based business. Everybody's trying to make some money. Things like AliExpress make it so easy to where you can just drop ship. But let's talk about your brands. How do you separate your brands from the rest of the noise out there that is competing with you to where you are able to succeed?
Well, Don, first of all, I've failed a few times in different businesses. So sometimes I think when you have failure, when you come back, you look at things a little bit different. My brand with Old Gold Goods is a little bit different because it's my fraternity, and I have a deep, everything I do has a meaning, and we create things that we know will connect with the brothers. So it makes it a little bit easier for me because I have sayings and I have different things, and I have a very, very niche market, a target market of individuals that I can reach.
So you're selling only Alpha Phi Alpha stuff?
Yes, for Old Gold Goods, which is my primary business, is Old Gold is Alpha Phi Alpha licensed paraphernalia. Correct. Like these are original brands.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
So you kind of got a niche audience that you're serving to.
Very niche, and historically, I've had businesses where the challenge was always finding out who the market was. So my cost per click is very low because when I'm doing marketing on Facebook ads per se, I'm marketing directly to an individual. I'm not wondering who's going to buy this. I know they have to be members of Alpha Alpha or their wives or something, and I can market directly to those individuals. And then the type of things that I make kind of separates me out. Like today is Dr. King's birthday. So we came up with a 1906 design and the image of Dr. King inside of the O. We laid this out last year when we launched, and we've probably done about we've done a great number of these items to date, and we actually are donating some proceeds to the King Center going forward. So we try to do a lot of personalized items that's going to reach out to our niche market.
So let me ask you, so your business is specialized in the sense that you're only serving to the people who love Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, do you see yourself expanding that type of business, or is this one type of business structure that is good for this one thing, and then I go start something else and maybe expand it into something else? Like, I don't want to sell everything in the kitchen sink Alpha Phi Alpha.
Amazing question, man. That's a good question because before I've had business where I spread myself too thin. So it's over 200,000 alpha men in the world, right? So sometimes people say I have friends that are Omegas and friends that are Kappas, and they say, man, you need to make stuff for us. Well, one thing that I realized is sometimes we can spread so thin. So for this particular business, it's strictly alpha. So if I can have a goal that's $50 a year to 10,000 alphas, that's very lucrative. So for now, it is a very niche market, and it's not going to be for everyone, but it makes it make sense. And I have a large enough market to just focus on the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha with this particular business.
I like this. A lot of times in business, we always talk about multiple streams of revenue. And this is, if you just compartmentalize this one little small business that is catered towards a niche, this is one stream of revenue. Does it take a lot of work to sit there and get this going on? Or is everything kind of like basic, go to the website, order what you want? You got a back end set up to where you can basically ship the order directly to the back end. They ship it out for you. Or
we do everything in house. Drop shipping works for some people. It doesn't work for us because we've tested products that do, and a lot of times you lose a lot of control in drop shipping. I'm fortunate enough to have a brilliant and amazing business partner, my wife, who's a designer. So we actually produce all of our products in-house to order, and we ship them out. So we believe in service, and we can kind of control a little bit more of the quality by doing it here. Of course, it's a little bit more work, but we do it all in-house.
How was the cost when you're doing it all in-house?
Oh no, you got way more. The margins are better. The margins are much better.
Oh, so it's more profitable for you to do everything in house
Definitely,
than be cheaper going to
definitely.
a drop shipper.
A drop ship, an average drop ship company, we're talking about t-shirts, they're probably getting, the actual seller is probably getting $4 a shirt, maybe $4 or $5 a shirt, even if they're selling them at $20 to $23.
Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, Gabe, back here. Gabe, I got your picture up in the corner just to let people know that you may be gone, but you're not lost without us. Okay. So glad to have you back here in the corner. I found that on the internet somewhere. I just want to let people know you're still here with us.
Hilarious, man.
Where
Yeah.
you at, Gabe?
Hey, man, listen, I am at the Attaché Lounge off of Camp Wilson Road here in Dallas, Texas. This
Okay.
is my spot, and I'm drinking Gentleman Jack. I don't know if Don asked you already. What you drinking, brother?
I'm drinking, actually right now, I'm drinking Douce
Is that right?
out of a great, personalized
Hey,
glass.
hey, that good old A5. I hear you. Hey, man, listen, I'm so grateful that you decided to join us, man. Like I said, I just sent a message out saying technology won't let me be great. The first 20 minutes of us on the show, I don't know what was going on with this connection, but hey, we here now. We here now. And Dunn has done a great job, and he's asking all the good questions, and I've been trying to listen in. So you just got to start from the beginning. Just start your whole story over. No, I'm
Okay.
kidding. I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding.
So
I'm
I don't
kidding.
have a problem doing that, brother.
No,
Good
I'm
brother.
kidding.
You
But I
know,
do want.
just to jump back in there, we were talking about basically he has multiple streams of revenue. We were talking about the alpha business as kind of being this
Mhm.
niche business that you kind of, I don't want to say you set it and forget it, but it's kind of like I know who the target audience is. I don't have to do much more than just cater to these 200,000 alpha men that are around the world, and it's just focused in a certain direction.
But
You
see,
know,
but here's the thing that I want to tap into on what I've learned about Paul that makes him great in this space. There's literally hundreds of vendors that service, all these fraternities and sororities, including obviously Alpha Phi Alpha. But you've chose to single Alpha Phi Alpha specifically, not just because you're a part of it, because you enjoy making the product that caters to that fraternity, and you've put forth the energy to make it great. Now, in doing that, I've noticed that the quality of your products, the designs, the design elements, what most people would say, the energy that you're putting into these products to make them stand out. That's what I saw and I've seen in the time frame that I've looked at your products and said, man, wow, that looks good. I would wear that just because of how it looks, not just because it had the letters on it, because it had, the year on it. It looked the part that was attractive by design first, and then the quality stepped in and like, man, but that's also great quality. So it was worth the money and it caught my attention. Now, my question to you is, what have you really done, or you feel like you've put in place to help you stay above the bar when it comes to creating products or developing products that stand out, um, from all of these other vendors and product designs that cater towards these Alpha Phi Alpha specifically?
Well, first of all, Gabe, thank you for the compliment. I don't take that lightly. I appreciate it coming from a person like yourself that's a for real businessman.
Hmm.
Well, the first thing, Gabe, is I'm cut from the cloth. I'm inside the house. So I'm gonna do some stuff that people that came in the way I came in are gonna understand. One of my things is I put guys, one of my goals, I work with reclamation, and I work with reclamation in a different way. I put guys in a frat shirt that hadn't worn a frat shirt in 15 years because they didn't want to have the letters all over. They didn't want the yellow. They wanted something that made them feel cool, but they
Ah,
could still represent. So me being a real part of that and understanding what so much of this stuff means, like old gold has real meaning and not just yellow, I can tap into what will we want to wear. What we want to wear when we out at a cigar lounge having a drink, we can still represent without being overly over the top with our letters. So I always come up with different ideas, meeting places, things that you might understand without being over the top. You can be out having a drink, but you'll see me and we'll say, "Hey man, how you doing?" So my thing is always to be, when I talk to my designer and we sit down, I'm always looking and thinking of different ways to capture a brother who hadn't put on a shirt in 10 years. So he'll see that and say, man, that Annie's boys, whew, man, man, you know what? That's dope.
That's
And
beautiful.
that's kind of what we go for. Like I was telling the brother earlier, this 1906 design was my very first design. We launched the company a year ago on February 1st. This was my very first design. Today happened to be Dr. King's birthday. It can't come full circle, right? This design has been probably my most popular design, and it's original. So we don't buy wholesale and just turn around and sell the same alpha stuff. You're not going to see this anywhere else in the world. And if you do, you know where it came from. So we really believe in sitting down. We design everything with meaning. So every time I'm doing a design, I'm making sure that it has a meaning. It's somewhere in the history book. It has a connection to the frat. It has a connection to the brothers. And then once they wear it, it's going to be a good conversation piece while you're out and help you connect with other brothers. So I'm always looking, like I got another hat that we rolling out right now. And I'm just trying to make sure that it's perfect. So it's always about the history and connecting that along with having something that you would like to wear and not feel so dated, if that makes sense.
No, man, that makes perfect sense. That's why I'm over here laughing because I understand what you're saying. The undertone of what you're saying in the midst of you're um, you're putting the the history that was poured into you, the way it was poured into you, back into the products.
Right.
You know, and a lot of people don't understand that. I mean, I think that's one of the big things about when you do create products and you sell to people. If you put more of yourself into the product, you
Yes.
know, you get a better response out of it. Um, I've seen a lot of pop-up boutiques online, and then this is kind of where this whole e-commerce conversation came from. In 2020, there were so many pop-up businesses that you know came online, which is not a bad thing. Everybody needs to make money. If you find a niche to make money, you jump on that niche and you go for it and be great.
Agreed.
However, when you jump into a market that is saturated by, I'm just going to throw this out there, Alibaba, everything you can buy off of them, everybody's going to have the same product selling the
That's
same thing.
correct. Right.
You put nothing into this product that you're selling, and therefore you're going to get that same response. People are going to look at that response as, oh, I can get this anywhere, and therefore um, my need to buy it is not as great because I'm sure I'm gonna see it again.
Right.
You know, but as you said, you make everything in house. You create these designs from your passion, your history, and therefore when somebody see it, it's a one of a kind design with a limited edition attached to it. If you want one, you get it now. Or I'm not making another 100 of these, so I just sold 95 of them. I got 5 of them left. You want it or not? It creates a whole nother dynamic. If I love it at that point in time, I'm gonna do what I need to do to shuffle things around in order to get it because
Correct.
it's not going to be around forever. And I think that's the really beautiful thing. And I think what more people, when they come into e-commerce, they need to think about those products that they're selling and how readily accessible can someone, a customer coming to their page, get it from anywhere else versus getting it right then and there.
And Gabe, to add to that, another thing about e-commerce, and this is in general,
Mhm.
um, when people, and now it depends on what they're looking to do, right? If they're looking to do a quick lick and they just want to get in and get out, that's one thing. But if you want to be a mainstay and say COVID put you out of work, right? And you saying, hey, look, I want to find a new way to make some consistent income, and you want to be in it for more than just 5 months. You say, I want to do this going forward. Well, one of the big things that we've seen with COVID was shipping. Shipping has been a big issue through USPS. A lot of packages are getting delayed, things like that. Well, service is what's going to set you apart.
Come
It
on.
just is when you're doing a lot of drop shipping and you don't have control of it, you have to be really careful because your quality goes down. You may make a quick. So this is my thing, right? I want to sell to you not one time but 10 times because
All
of your
right.
experience, right? I don't want you to say, man, I like the item, man, but I never deal with them again. They never came. They didn't answer my questions. They didn't, they didn't feel my concerns. They got their money and they moved on. And I see that happening a lot with these pop-up companies. One thing about it, we answer every email.
Mm.
We make sure that, and for the most part, about 95% of them are brothers. So it's going to be a conversation that's already be brotherly, you know.
Right.
But we answer the emails. We go above and beyond. We open cases with USPS if a package has gotten delayed, even though we've shipped it and it really is not in our control. But we try to walk that process all the way through, and we believe in the service element. So I think what happens is a lot of these guys that do these drop shipping, they're not really looking at service. So the return buyer, so they may do good for a month, and then next month they wonder what's going on. This is outside of the product. Now, if you got the same product, maybe they bought it, they don't want to buy anything else. But in order to make that person come back again, because I got several repeat customers, they know that this person is not going to take my money and run off, because it is a lot of pop-up companies. You don't know who's
Right.
real, right? You don't know who's really behind that. If I'm gonna buy this, am I gonna really get my product, or I'm just gonna put my money in the air and hope it comes? So customer service, shipping time, and actually the ease of use on your website is very important in e-commerce, meaning that you want the least number of clicks between the time that the person lands on your website until they can check out. You don't want a person to have to go through all these steps and then make it. You want to collect the money easy. You want the money. You want to make sure, hey, go give me the money. You don't want to make it hard for them to give you the money, right? So you want to make sure that the click-through rate and the rate of getting from clicking to size to address, whatever, to out, you want to make that process on average 1 to 2 minutes.
I think that's gold right there, because I don't think a lot of people think about that. And I'm assuming, a lot of people nowadays are using a lot of the automated web generating programs that allow them to put a few things up and throw a few things together, and from that, boom, they have a website up. So speaking about the website, um, is did you put a little more energy or effort into your website and design the platform and stuff that you're using, or I mean, is it one of those platforms where you can put some stuff together and kind of customize it beyond that? How did you go
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be very transparent. We use Wix, but we customized it. I have an app. Everything comes to my phone. So as soon as matter of fact, if somebody's on the website, I can tell. As soon as they order, I can tell what they ordered. I get their information. If I need to send them a message, an email, or even if I need to call them, I can call them if a size is out, or hey, that product just got out of stock. So I think that's important, man, in how you design your website. So if we're talking to individuals out there that's looking to get into e-commerce, we have to be very careful. I had a friend of mine who launched the online store. Now I'm from this space, so I know pretty much how to maneuver around most websites.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I couldn't even find out how to check out. So I mean, it was so you have to be very. So one thing I tell people, if you ever gonna launch a site, go to your site and make a purchase as a consumer.
See
That
that
should be
experience.
first. And don't have people sending you money on Cash App either, man. That's not business. Because then now you don't have a way to track it. That's cool if you're selling 1 or 2 to your family. So what you want to do is, like, right now, I can log into my app. You can say, hey, I bought a shirt from you last month. I never got it. I'm gonna say, what was your order number, Gabe? That's the first thing I'm gonna ask you. Right? You give me an order number, I can track. But if you don't have an order number or that email that generates that comes to you, so you have to. So everyone who's out here we all want to get the money. We understand that part. We want to make sure we set ourselves up, and I don't want to put all this red tape in the way, because a lot of times people put this red tape in the way and people never go through with it. They say, "Oh, it's going to be too much." No, but you do want to make sure that you can check out of your website, that you have a good payment processor, and that you can track your orders. You
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that you can control that type of thing, and therefore you won't make the money one time. Now Gabe will come back to me 2 and 3 times, because a true customer is, I want to make that sale 3 months from now. That's how we get to a residual space.
I want to add something too, because you mentioned something, and this plays with e-commerce. Okay, protecting yourself with purchases made through your website. I do a lot of e-commerce business because I do a lot of voiceover, and I create a lot of radio commercials.
Okay.
And I have been ripped off
Mm.
by people who pay with credit cards
And dispute it.
and dispute it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So this is something that's very important for those of you who are starting a website who want to take credit cards either or take them through PayPal or any credit card processor. Make sure that you got a name and address.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying, because somebody hit a chargeback on me, and because I sent them a digital product, I didn't mail them out a physical copy of the CD.
That's right.
They disputed the charge later on, said they never got it or they didn't authorize it, and I'm out. And that chargeback hit me like 2 months later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out $1,000. You know what I'm saying? That's putting my account into the negative, and there's nothing I can do because it's a digital product. So when you're dealing with e-commerce, you literally making this sale is the first thing, but protecting your money is another thing that you have to be very mindful to read up on the chargeback procedures and protect yourself by getting either tracking numbers, addresses, and all kind of information so that you don't get hit with a chargeback if some fraud comes to your store.
That's a very valid point you made, and that's really for people that are selling services, right?
Yeah,
because
I mean, it applies to anything, but you just got to protect yourself because
you're
there
right.
are things.
It
what?
does. With me, it's a little different. I knock on wood, I hadn't had that happen. I haven't had it happen before in another business, but the thing about it, you can send out a tracking. There's ways to trick the system, but the one good thing you asked me earlier, you said, "Have you ever thought about expanding the brand?" So my customer base is a base of college educated men who generally have upright values. So with me in this particular business, these guys are generally my fraternity brothers. So that's one thing I don't necessarily have to worry about. But in the e-commerce space, he said a lot because that is something that happens. People do go back and dispute it for whatever reason. So that is something, if you guys are listening and thinking about the business, you want to look at your merchant and see what what their policies are about providing refunds and chargebacks.
And that's a real thing, and I want to touch bases on that because I had a little situation that I had to learn the hard way. I had a customer come in, and I was delivering a service. In this situation, it was a repair service. So I repaired this lady's phone, and I had a new sales rep in the store, and they double charged the deposit on the repair service. And so in order to take care of the lady about the charge or whatever, one of my managers at the time, he stepped in and he chose to refund the lady in cash when she originally paid in credit card. And in no fault of his own, he was going above and beyond for this customer, because the customer cried that they was in a bad tight spot, and he wanted to right the wrong. Even though it was accidental, he wanted to right this wrong. He wanted to make sure this customer walked away whole, and so he gave her a cash refund for the double charge, to help her move forward. Well, she then turned around 3 weeks later and disputed the charge in full.
Really? I'm sorry. She disputed the charge in full.
Yeah, she disputed the charge in full, and so she got her money back twice. And so
she did that on purpose, though. She was gaming the system.
Right. And so even though I sent the bank in disputing her, her dispute, I sent the bank video clips of me physically handing her the cash refund. I sent them receipts. I sent them paper trails. I did everything I needed to do to justify and validate that I gave her this cash refund. They still sided with her. Because in the banking industry, they're always going to side with the customer. That's why a lot of people don't take American Express. A lot of businesses don't take American Express, because American Express will charge the vendor a fee if a customer returns something, because they truly believe the customer, in an older language, the customer is always right. So that's why a lot of companies don't take American Express. But in this situation, I learned a hard lesson, and that lesson was, even though it may have put her in a bad spot. Unfortunately, I would have to return that transaction back to her the same way it came in order to protect myself in the business. In that situation,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah, in
Would
that
it put her in a bad spot because maybe it was a delay in returning to her account?
exactly. So the refund would have been a 3-day transaction. It could have made it
Oh,
there sooner, but it would have been a 3-day transaction. So although we felt bad about the situation, and although it would have been a headache for her, that situation would have just had to be a bad situation.
can I ask you this?
Yeah.
What makes it? Is it the merchant that you use? What's making it take 3 days to go back to the card?
In that situation, it was the merchant. I'm no longer with that merchant at
Okay.
this time.
What was the
Let me.
issue? What was the issue that why they didn't take your evidence, the
It
video
was
surveillance?
it was her bank, and what they deemed was, hey, it's not sufficient evidence that you paid her, or she, you gave her her money back, so we're going to side on her.
I wonder
That
if
was,
that. I wonder if the banking scheme is basically, always protect the customer, and no matter regardless of whether they can shaft you or not. You know
it,
what I'm
it
saying?
it is. I mean, I lean on my credit card all the time. I have a Visa card that I use for most of my online transactions, solely because I know my Visa card holder will back me 100%. I'm going to say 99% of the time. If I have a valid complaint, they're going to side with me, and they're going to make whoever I'm disputing fight to prove otherwise. Now I don't do it maliciously, but I do it in a sense that I know it's going to protect me if I'm dealing with a company. For example, in 2020, a lot of companies were doing things. Let's say I ordered a thermometer, and the company was saying that they were, here in the United States, but in actuality, it was a company in China. Well, next thing you know, they tell me that this product is going to take, 4 to 5 weeks to show up, when originally they told me 10 days.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm like, instantly I know you're not in the United States. So I'm canceling that order. Well, now I got to go back and forth with you on why I'm canceling my order. Well, because I use my credit card, I just hit my credit card company, dispute it. They instantly credit me back the money, and then they fight them.
Yeah, I had something like that. I ordered something that I wrote off as a loss, and I knew it was coming from China. I ordered it in March. I didn't get it until July, and then they were sending me emails talking about it just got delivered today. And I gave up on it. I was like, I'll get to, you know what? I got to go dispute that through my credit card bill. I'll get to it when I get to it. Like 4 or 5 months after I ordered it, it popped up in the mail, which is like, I don't know. I don't know if that was Donald Trump slowing down the mail, or or if that was China. It was taking a long time to get through customs. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of weird things happened in 2020,
A lot
but
of weird things happen.
I did it. I
Dr.
did.
Gabriel, let me add one thing to this conversation.
Uh-huh.
If somebody is listening to this or watches the playback, I want you guys to really hear this. This is an old adage, but some of the best deals in business that you do are deals that you don't do. And I want everybody to really recognize that. I mean, so before this, I had a car dealership. And man, I got to a point where business was slow. I tell people, so one thing about us, sometimes we don't want to accept our and own our failures. Business got slow. And when business got slow, when the first of the month, bills are still due. Right.
Absolutely.
So, hey, look, somebody come in, they're not credit worthy, but you need that down payment, and you're willing to take on this risk of floating this note yourself. And when you do that too much and you know better, it puts you in a bad position. So I just want to tell people, I know we get in a tight spot and we want to make that money. We see it in front of us. But sometimes, especially when you start dealing with a certain dollar amount in
Go ahead,
business.
go ahead and tell that story, man. I love that story because it has so much value in it.
What story? Are you talking about the dealership?
Yeah, the dealership.
Well, I mean, it just was a situation where, man, we had a dealership. I've always been an entrepreneur. So, I mean, I sold cars. I did well. And I got with a friend of mine I went to college with. And we opened a car dealership. And, I mean, we opened a full-fledged car dealership. I'm talking about we had $500,000 line of credit building.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man, we help people build their credit. We went and got bank relationships in the state of Texas where we're located at. You have to go through the OCCC. You have to be licensed to finance. So we went and got banks. We did high end. We did some second chance. We did a lot of different things. And when business got slow, We just started taking
Tote the
chances
note.
on
Were you want to tote the note?
we started. Well, I don't really like that word. I like,
I know.
but because it has a bad ring. But I would say this: I was toting notes, and I never again in the rest of my life told a note. But the deal was I would put people in the best car they ever had. So it wouldn't be the tote the note I had. It wouldn't be the Pontiac Sunfire. It wouldn't be the the Saturn View. It would be a nice Lexus. And what
That
happened is
that old faithful Cavalier.
It was too leveraged. You were leveraged
I put too much money on the streets, and I'll be honest, I
too.
trusted us
Well,
too much.
some of us appreciate places like Tote the Notes,
Yeah.
and some of us really are trying to work
Well,
to get back on track.
Well, yeah, I would tell a person, man, my token note was different. I would only do it on a plan, meaning that I would house you for 6 months on good pay. Then I would move your note to a bank that's a little bit larger bank that would report to your credit. I do not believe in a person getting a purchase over $1,000 and paying on that purchase interest and not receiving any credit, because that's how you build your leverage. We have to grow our credit. A lot of times people that buy cars every tax season have the same credit they had 20 years ago because they're never getting credit for the good things they're doing. So the reason why I don't like traditional token notes because they don't report the good, but if you repo, it'll still hit your credit.
Absolutely.
Right. So I like to, we have programs. We take you, we put you on a program, and everybody didn't do us bad. We helped a lot of people. And in 6 months, we move it to a bank. They get their credit established, even though they had higher interest because there's more of a risk. And then they be able to go buy a car later at, for a lower interest rate. So sometimes failures teach you new things. So don't be afraid to jump into business, and try some things out and find out what works and what does not work. Write it down. I mean, write down what didn't work last time and share it with others. I always say that. Some people will say, "Oh man, I learned the hard way." That's not how I am. If you come to me and you ask me, I'm gonna tell you, "Hey, don't do this, don't do that."
Why did you get out of the car business, or are you still?
And at some point in time, when you see one thing that I have, I don't want to say we as black, but I know I have, is too much pride sometimes, and sometimes we stay too long. The other people will pivot. They have no problem with pivoting. They have no problem saying it didn't work out. I'm gone.
Right.
I stayed way too long. I had to leave because it just was not being productive. When you get 10, 15 bad loans out at one time,
Ooh.
and you get people running in vehicles, and you get to where you just, and at the first of the month, you mad because you like, man, all these bills are coming due, the rent, and I got to do floor plan fees, and I got to, the car business, if you don't watch it, it'll kill you.
Right.
It can, I mean, my wife even said, she was like, it's time for you to get out of this thing, man. It's 80 hours a week. I don't see no money. And it's crazy because I would have days, and this is, I'll finish with this. One day, what really hit me, I was counting some money, cash. Somebody bought a car cash. And I think, I don't want to lie, I think the car was like $13,000. They paid cash. And I'm counting the money, making sure I'm about to make my deposit. I'm at the table. And my daughter says to me, "Dad, you got a lot of money." And I looked at what I owed on the car after fees and after the floor plan. I was like, man, this is like $500 profit.
Whoa.
Out of all this work, when you get the car, you got to condition the car. You got to get it right. You got to make sure that you sell it fast. If you don't, you got to get floor plan fees. It's the interest fees that are bearing. And at the end of the day, you're like, I did all that. I said,
For
$5.
$5?
Cars. Some cars you lose money. So when you go to a dealership and that guy's telling you sometime, man, we losing money on this car, you said, no way. Yeah, sometimes he's losing money because guess what? He'll rather lose that money to you and go ahead and sell that car and get it off his books because he's paying interest on that car daily. So when it starts to be there a long time, the longer it's there, the more that dealership is paying for that car.
Oh, because he bought the car on credit with a credit.
He bought it on credit. It's called a floor plan, right?
I got you. So I need to knock that. I need to knock the debt down as fast as possible. Otherwise, the price.
Yes, sir.
The price going to go up on me.
You could catch a car, man. It's timing. You mess around and go to a dealership and catch the age unit that's like been there 140 days. Man, there's nothing wrong with the car. Just nobody has come to buy it. Man, you can get a deal. If you find that, if you can figure out what units are age units, you can get you a deal at a car dealership.
That's going to be a new episode of a whiskey kind of day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The car, you know. But thank you for peeping a lot of game on this car thing. Very interesting.
Hey, Dunn is about to go and hustle some people on a new car.
Some of the age cars out, huh? Where they at?
Now, for real.
Hey, but no, Paul. So tell me about the other online business that you have.
Well, Love Envy Boutique is my wife's brand. She kind of runs both of them, but she does a lot of everything. She does original. She does a lot of black art, like a lot of Oprah. She got a lot of. You go to Love Envy Boutique, she got a lot of dope stuff, a lot of dope sayings, a lot of dope saying T-shirts, a lot of real creative stuff. And it's Love Envy Boutique. We had an actual physical store.
Okay.
We've had a few. And look, we've had a few physical stores. But I told her, I said, the physical store, you know, this was right before COVID, right? I was like, man, we just paying this rent, right? We're paying this rent.
What made you decide to go from the physical stores to just solely e-commerce?
Hey, man, because e-commerce, my website bill a month $30. And I can talk to people all over the world. My brick and mortar bill $11.50. Like, like you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, man, I know too well.
Then what happened was she was running by herself. You dropping the kids out, picking the kids up. You're there 2-3 hours. You're missing so many people because you can't hold 9 to 7 hours, right? You know how it goes. I mean, you got to be there. So you look up and people, I missed you, and you look up and you're like, man, I'm not really making money from this brick and mortar store because I don't really in a position to hire anybody else, and I don't have the time to necessarily be there. So we took it online. And she's been thriving, and she does a lot of things for other people as well. Like she does bulk ordering. We just invested in another machine that we can do sublimation and license plates and things like that. So cases. So yeah, we just trying to be smarter in 2021, man. And you know, a lot of times the brick and mortar, I'm even thinking about getting a spot for old gold goods for stuff like this. If we got stuff like this, we can come through and lounge. I'm thinking about something like that, but it has to make sense, right? I've been very expense heavy in businesses before. I'm talking about very expense heavy, and to me, I'm more concerned about the bottom line. I don't care about what it looks like, right? Sometimes people go get buildings before they need a building.
See that?
Because it looks like they're doing it big, right? And
they want to show success without having success.
Come on, man. I see it happen too often. So it has to make sense for me.
So let me ask you this. In 2020, I mean, since you moved all of your businesses online before 2020, as you said, in 2020, what did you see or what challenges did you see kind of come up for you in the e-commerce space?
The biggest one was shipping, man. I mean, we had no control over that. I mean, the post office, and that's what most of our stuff is. We don't really do FedEx and UPS because we have things that are mostly under a pound or 2 or 3 pounds. So really shipping became the big thing. But the thing about it, the blessing in e-commerce, man, was that everybody was at home online. I mean, you know, and now it's the new way. Even people that did go to stores before needed to touch it. Now, because of people being, scared to go out and want to be safe.
Yep.
Now, people that wouldn't have bought online, your market is even broader, right? They'll buy online now because it's safer. It's coming to my house, and you just open up to the world, man. I mean, think about it. My doors are open. I wake up in the morning. I have 4 or 5 sales from 12 to 3 or 4 in the morning. You know, like my doors never have to close. So I think that the biggest thing is now I run Facebook pretty aggressive. I'm trying to figure out how to grow my Instagram following. That's my biggest platform for the brothers. I'm probably gonna do something like Alpha Talk on there and just kind of to create more of the connection with the brothers. And I'm looking at doing some wholesale things with some other vendors because we create original material. So now I can sell it out to other people that retail it and get into the wholesale market. So that's one way I'm looking to grow the company going forward.
That's nice. That's nice. Now that was going to be my next question is where did you see taking your business and you're saying wholesaling is your next step.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna do it, man. And then this did hurt us because the conferences do big. And this year we're supposed to have a national conference, right? General conference. Like that's big, man. I was talking to the guy who was over at Vendor, and he was like, man, the national convention last time, vendors was making like 80 to 100 in a 4-day weekend. Yeah, so that's a big play is the conferences. And like I told the gentleman earlier, Don, I said it's 200. I said my goal is this simple. If I can reach 10,000 of our brothers annually and get each one of them to spend $50 with me a year, I'm at half. I'm at half on revenue. If
That's
I'm at
a goal,
if,
ever.
if
That's
I'm at a 50%, if I'm at 50% profit ratio at half, we can do all right with a little old alpha business.
Well, I got a question. If I were to buy a alpha hat,
Uh-huh.
will I become an alpha?
No, it don't work like that. But if you bought it, but if you want to, I'm not vetting who's spending money, right? Like, so if you want to come on here and buy an alpha hat, you go buy $200 worth of our gear. I'm gonna ship it all to you. Now, if you wear it and you end up in a bad situation,
no,
then that,
don't
and
worry about it. If he buys it, I'm just gonna come and take it from him. So done. Absolutely go on there and you buy up as much alpha stuff as your heart content.
Well, you know,
Well,
listen, I like to fake it till you can make it. That's what we do.
I'm not even gonna give you a chance to fake it. I'm just gonna come. I'm going to confiscate all that you have.
You gonna repo my gear?
It's not a repo. It was never really yours.
that's right.
Amazing. I love it. Wow. So listen, I love your two businesses, man. I love that you have them strategically aligned to a certain audience. Wix is amazing. They have a lot of. I prefer Wix more so than Shopify, although Wix had to play catch up to Shopify with a lot of the back end infrastructure. But if you are creating a website on Wix, I love how when you can chat with somebody on your website directly on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
and notify when somebody's on your website. You know what I'm saying? The purchase, and you can set everything up, and it's cheap and inexpensive compared to Shopify. You got to keep paying them a monthly. You could spend time setting up the store without having to pay anything up front, and then launch it whenever you're ready. Compared to Shopify, you got like 14 days to kind of set up your store, and you need to hurry up, otherwise they're gonna be hitting you every single month for a fee. So that's a dope thing, man. Dope.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, we had looked at Shopify briefly, but my wife started with Wix, man, and we're just way comfortable with it. It does everything we needed to do, man. And we can make the front end look however we want it to look. So it's really about the back end infrastructure for us and the ease
Yeah.
of use.
Yeah, Wix I think is a lot easier to use. I got a lot of great templates. It's easy to move around. Shopify, it's a little bit more. I gotta pay somebody to design a store, and they got free templates up there that you can use, but it's not as I don't think as user friendly as Wix is.
Hmm.
You know, but I appreciated Shopify's back end because they had a massive back end for drop shipping with a lot of different suppliers and stuff like that. But you know, for you doing something different, I think Wix is an amazing platform to be on, and they're relatively inexpensive.
Right.
I'm gonna ask this last question. So for someone jumping in the e-commerce space, what would be some of the key things that you would tell them from your experience? What to kind of do before investing a ton of money into product lines or websites? What type of stuff would you tell them to do going into the ideal of, hey, I want to start a business and I want to start it online?
Well, the first thing I was you got to have a demand for the product that you're selling.
Uh,
You got to find a product that has a demand to it, right? So, the first thing is going to be product. Second thing is who are you selling that product to? These things are, I remember I used to listen to so much stuff and it'd be generic. And I'm like, man, they just giving me generic stuff. But the truth of the matter is, what product are you looking at selling? And who can you talk? You have to break your market down. That's one thing I do love about having an alpha only store is that I don't spend a lot of unnecessary money marketing. I know I'm talking directly to Gabriel Langley. I'm not worried about who I know he would
mhm.
have some interest in what I'm selling. So my cost per click is very minimal, right? My CPA, my cost per action is very minimal when I look at my ads versus things that I've done historically. Because then I was just casting a wide net and then just hoping that somebody will come in and actually buy it. So I would say product, you got to know what the product is making. I tell my son this all the time. I mean, you buy a product for $5 and you want to sell it for $7, you saying that's $2 a piece. Well, you got to look at, if you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna make $2, I'm gonna sell 50 a day, I'm gonna make $100 a day, I'm cool. Well, you got to look at what's your transaction fees gonna be, right? If you got shipping and handling, if you got to drive out to pick up your material, are you factoring in fuel costs? Are you depreciating your vehicle? Are you factoring in like it's so many hidden costs that you don't really think about that we call, control variable costs. So you don't think about them, and then you look at your check at the end of the month, you're like, I ain't got no money. Well, you didn't calculate in that you spent $120 this week in fuel, riding around, meeting people, meeting up in the parking lot, selling your shirts. Right? I tell people all the time, man, get you a website, man, and make them people pay for shipping and drop that stuff at the post office. Let the post office do their job. I got a young man now mentoring on his store, and he taking cash up and driving and meeting people. I said, how many people you meet this week? I gotta go this way after work. I said, where you live at? Grand Prairie? You going to Garland? Okay, how many miles is that? Okay, how many times you do that this week? Oh man, So now you were making $12 a shirt. What you really making? Let's look at the true profit.
Let's dig at the true number.
You gotta look at the true number, man. All this money is money. So people get so caught up in, I'm selling for $20. I paid 10. Well, no, you didn't, because PayPal charged you 2.9%. You know,
the hidden call. I do got a buddy who has a delivery business, but he specializes in high end, and I think that's the only way where you're going to be able to go do delivery with yourself.
Oh yeah,
is because it's a high end client that he's looking to make a personalized connection with.
Well, he's already baked his cost into his price, though, right?
Absolutely.
I can't run a delivery service selling a $20 t-shirt.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
No.
And I got to drive 25 miles to deliver it to you.
Like, because you're gonna start seeing these hidden gaps in your cash flow. You're like, right. I know I had $1,000, but what happened? You're like, oh damn, I put gas in my car. I had to get a tune up. I had to get tires. I had to go, pay somebody to go do some things I couldn't do because I'm on the road delivering. So, there are, and that's the most important thing when it comes to business is really understanding the hidden costs that you may not anticipate. And this is one of the big things about this show that we're talking about, the ups and downs of business that you may not get. The hidden costs that may be eating at your profit margin or your cash flow, you need to factor everything in. And how can I get it either eliminated or get the customer pay for it or knock it out completely? And
one thing with our business that we a lot of startups have problems with is we get to the end of the year and we didn't never factor in for taxes. So we made $20,000, right? $20,000 additional income, depending on where you at, it pushes you up to another thing. You owe another 20% of taxes, right? So now you owe $4,000 in taxes. But you want to write off all this stuff. This is a big problem that we have because you don't want to pay $4,000 in taxes. So you write it all the way down like you lost money. Now, 1 year, 2 years, maybe it's okay because it looked like you just started. Then you want to buy a house. Now they look at your adjusted gross income.
And you can't even count it. You can't even count it.
You can't even make, now your tax return shows you don't make any money. So we got to be very careful. We want to not pay taxes, but then we cut our leg because now we can't even buy anything because when we got to provide proof of income, we can't. So also factor in taxes on everything that if you make $10 and you think, hey, take $2 out there and put it in a tax account. So at the end of the year, when it's time to pay taxes, you already got the money for the taxes. Matter of fact, you probably get in an account that you're making profit, you're making a return on your tax money.
Man,
so then you pay your taxes. You're good.
Listen, I'm glad you said that because some advice that I got a long time ago when I started business was to grab a second account specifically for your sales taxes or your business taxes. And every time you do a transaction or at the end of the month, you take whatever taxation you have, you put it in that separate account, and you never touch that account. And you let it be the account that's going to accumulate the funds for your taxes at the end of the year for that exact reason. And if you get it into a savings account that has a decent rate, guess what? Now that account is going to make money while you have to spend some of it.
That's right.
And I want to circle back. One of the things when I was mentoring some people, younger people about business and about employment, and I was doing trainings and stuff, I used to always talk about understanding your real compensation. People would talk about, man, I got this $75,000 job. They paying me all these benefits and blah 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 blah. But you driving 45 minutes to work. And I started talking about gas expenses and everything that you can be doing during that time frame in which you're driving back and forward to job. If you're driving 45 minutes to work every day, Guess what? You try to drive 45 minutes home. You're spending an hour and a half on
That's
the
right.
road.
Bad
So
quality of life, traffic, all that.
exactly. So when you're calculating your income, you're not working 8 hours a day. You're working technically 9.5.
That's real.
And so it may be more lucrative for you to take a $65,000 a year job
Around the
that's
corner.
around the corner 15 minutes down the road than it is for you to take a $75,000 job that's 45 minutes away. As you said, the quality of life, what could you do with that additional hour, those gases and that time that you're putting on the road? What does that actually look like for you when it comes to your actual full financial compensation? So great point on that, man. I love that you brought that up.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, this has been a lot of great, nuggets, man. Especially at the car dealership nugget. I'm gonna look for that car sitting on the lot that's been aging too long, and be like, let me give you $50 for it. Come on, let me give you some money, man. So listen, Paul, we want to thank you for joining us, man. We want to put this up here one more time for them to check out your website. You are a licensed vendor for Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, and that's at oldgoldgoods.com.
That's correct.
Right.
And in Love Envy Boutique, what does that sell again?
Love Envy Boutique. If you go to us, my wife really runs this. A lot of sayings for Black women, a lot of empowerment stuff, a lot of dope designs. We have a praise shirt that has all the days around the week. She has everything on there is pretty much original designs, and she believes in the quality. And every T-shirt, we don't have no box hard T-shirts. We get the good stuff, man. We go right to the manufacturer and get the good stuff. So Love Envy Boutique is her stuff. She runs that. She pretty much runs the day-to-day on both of them, but Love Envy Boutique and then Old Gold Goods for my Alpha brothers.
If anybody want to reach out to you directly to do business with you, how can they reach you?
You can reach me at 1906 at oldgoldgoods.com. That's the email. 1906 at oldgoldgoods.com. If they ever had any questions for my wife, it would be Natalia at loveenvyboutique.com.
All right. Well, listen, man. Paul, you said a mouthful, and thank you so much for a lot of the game and a lot of the knowledge, man. I appreciate that, man. I think I've drained my bottle of tequila sitting here listening to you.
Thank y'all for having me. I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, this is absolutely amazing. All right, Paul, thank you so much, man. Thank you for checking out the show, and
Thank you, Paul.
And I'm definitely gonna get my hat from the Old Gold Goods. I ain't gonna perpetrate.
You do it. You do that.
I'm not gonna perpetrate, but I might show up at a conference with it on.
Paul, when you see his name come through, go ahead and just engrave my name in the backside of it. I mean, because it's not going to be his. He's going to be buying it from me. So just go ahead and engrave my name in the back of it. Something like that. That's cool.
I remember.
When you cross over, when you cross over, I don't remember you crossing over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, listen. I am coming up on 19 years.
19 years.
Yes, sir.
You got the brain and everything like me?
Oh, you might got a brand, but it ain't the brand that we thinking of. You took a coat hanger and put like a Zorro brand or something on your shoulder.
All right, Paul. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, enjoyed you guys.
All right.
Paul.
All right.
All right. So that's it, man. A lot of great conversations, man. Thank Paul for hanging out with us once again. Wow. A lot of great nuggets, man. A lot of great nuggets. We got through the technical difficulties here today.
Yeah. God,
I don't know
drink, man.
I don't know what's happening or what's going on, but I'll take one final drink with you before we close this out.
I'm gonna have to go over to the bar and get one, but I smoke to it, man. I got my cigar lit. It's been a crazy situation. I mean, the reason we even came up with this concept talking about e-commerce is because one of the things in 2020 that I found beneficial is I had to move a lot of my business online as well. So I have a brick and mortar, but I can literally sell any of my phone products, any of my accessories online, FuboMobileDeals.com. FuboMobileDeals.com. You can go and you can purchase any phone on the website. You can purchase many of our cases and accessories. Simply because I know a lot of people are not getting out to the stores. They're not going into the brick and mortar. And we still want to be able to service those people and be able to deliver quality customer service and quality cell phone products. I can even sell your cell phone line over the internet. So e-commerce is the way a lot of things are moving. As long as you do it right, as long as you take the time to like he said, just make sure your product lines lined up with people that are selling things, as well as just make sure you hold true to your customer service. You know, drop shipping may be great for some, but make sure you're doing what you need to do to have the the quality of service with each one of those products that you're giving to your people. So, I mean, great conversation all the way around.
Yeah. Paul was amazing. We got a shout out to Attache Cigar Lounge in
Sure.
Dallas at 4099 West Camp Road, West Camp Wisdom Road, I should say.
West Ham Wisdom, yes sir, man. It's a great place, man. Had a little technical issues, but we here, man. We here.
Shouts out to them for allowing the show to go down in there, and a lot of great information that came out. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Man, the only final thought I got is I need another drink, but I want to celebrate you, man, because you got a new venture in your life, and in my empty glass, I still want to celebrate you and everything that you're doing, and you continue to grow, man, and your hustle and grind is everything that I aspire to be. You've been an inspiration to me for many, many years, brother. I don't know if you know that, but your hustle is immense, and I enjoy watching you do your thing, man. I really do.
You know, my favorite quote is, we just got to make some more money. You know, at the end of the day, we just gotta. You ain't making enough. We just got to go make some money. I'll be back on the radio in Los Angeles very, very soon. For those of you who are fans of mine out in LA, I can't really talk about it right now because it's really not put out there yet. But within the next month or so, I will be back on the LA airwaves, and we'll be having a lot of fun, talking a lot of trash, and basically discussing a lot of the events of the world. So, until the next whiskey kind of day, check out whiskeykindaday.com. Make sure to go to the website. Where can they follow you online? Or are you even online, Gabe?
Man, I'm on all platforms. Gabriel DA, Gabriel DA Langley, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Definitely go to our website, www.whiskeykindaday.com. And you can catch me and you can catch Dunn. You can see when the next shows are coming up. And man, just as always, spread the word. Please go to the YouTube page, subscribe so you can see all the clips that we're putting up. Please go and subscribe to Gabriel D.A. Langley, which is going to have Whiskey Kind of Day. So we're going to keep putting these up, man. We're going to keep having a good time. And I just tell everybody, man, continue to do what you do. Continue to work hard. Continue to hustle harder, because that's the only way you're going to get to the next level in life, man.
All right, man. Until next time, we'll see you later.